Winky wants to go home. Winky thinks Mr. Crouch is her master, sir, and nothing Dobby says will persuade her that Professor Dumbledore is her master now. Hey, Winky, said Harry, struck by sudden inspiration, walking over to her and bending down. You don't know what Mr. Crouch might be up to, do you? Because he stopped turning up to judge the Triwizard Tournament. Winky's eyes flickered. Her enormous pupils focused on Harry. She swayed slightly again and said, Master has stopped coming? Yeah, said Harry. We haven't seen him since the first task. The Daily Prophet says he's ill. Winky swayed some more, staring blurrily at Harry. Master, ill? Her bottom lip began to tremble. But we're not sure if that's true, said Hermione quickly. Master is needing his... Winky? Whimpered the elf. Master cannot manage by himself. Other people manage to do their own housework, you know, Winky, Hermione said severely. Winky is not only doing housework for Mr. Crouch, Winky squeaked indignantly, swaying worse than ever and slopping butterbeer down her already heavily stained blouse. Master is trusting Winky with the most important secret. What? Said Harry, but Winky shook her head very hard, spilling more butterbeer down herself. Winky keeps her master's secrets, she said mutinously, swaying very heavily now, frowning up at Harry with her eyes crossed. You is... nosing you is... Winky must not talk like that to Harry Potter, said Dobby angrily. Harry Potter is brave and noble, and Harry Potter is not nosy. He is nosing into my master's private and secret. Winky is a good house elf. Winky keeps her silence. People trying to pry and poke. Winky's eyelids drooped, and suddenly, without warning, she slid off her stool into the hearth, snoring loudly. The empty bottle of butterbeer rolled away across the stone-flagged floor. Half a dozen house elves came hurrying forward, looking disgusted. One of them picked up the bottle, and the others covered Winky with a large checkered tablecloth and tucked the ends in neatly, hiding her from view. We are sorry you had to see that, sirs and miss, squeaked a nearby house elf, shaking his head and looking very ashamed. We is hoping you will not judge all of us by Winky, sirs and miss. She's unhappy, said Hermione, exasperated. Why don't you try and cheer her up instead of covering her up? Begging your pardon, miss, said the house elf, bowing deeply again, but house elves have no right to be unhappy when there is work to be done and masters to be served. Oh, for heaven's sake, Hermione cried. Listen to me, all of you. You've got just as much of a right as wizards to be unhappy. You've got the right to wages and holidays and proper clothes. You don't have to do everything you're told. Look at Dobby. Please keep Dobby out of this, Dobby mumbled, looking scared. The cheery smiles had vanished from the faces of the house elves around the kitchen. They were suddenly looking at Hermione as if she were mad and dangerous. We has your extra food, squeaked an elf at Harry's elbow, and he shoved a large ham and a dozen cakes and some fruit into Harry's arms. Goodbye! The house elves crowded around Harry, Ron, and Hermione and began shunting them out the kitchen, many little hands pushing in the smalls of their backs.